Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Star Trek Online. I'm Bull, and what I'm going to do today is take a break from leveling up Roger the Alien here, and instead I'm going to show you the duty officer system since I just hit level 7. Alright, so what is the duty officer system, you might ask? The duty officers represent your NPCs, your minor characters on your ship, the background characters. Everyone who's not your bridge officers. What you'll do is, in the duty officer assignments, you'll send them on away missions. They'll go off and they'll attempt to perform some sort of mission based on a set of skills that they have and their classes, their class or specialty. And if they succeed, they will bring you back experience points and loot. Because at the end of the day, that's what all good MMOs are actually about, loot and XP. So if you open up under the mini-map, you'll see a little icon that's got 3 heads. Those are your duty officers. If you mouse over it, it says duty officers. You'll open that up. You'll get your first set of duty officers at level 7 from Lieutenant Farah. He's the Kachin here on the Earth Space Starfleet Academy. You'll get a group of 20 duty officers from him. These duty officers, you can see them if you go to the overview, view roster. You can see all of your current duty officers. And if they're on an away mission already, they'll have a duty officer mission. They'll have a little icon. And you'll see that the duty officers you'll have tactical duty officers, which are tactical and security, red shirts. Engineering duty officers, which are engineering and operation, or yellow shirts. And science duty officers, which are science and medical, blue shirts. You will also have civilians, which they have a bunch of different specialties. Traders, diplomats, chefs, bartenders, everybody who's not officially enrolled in Starfleet but still serves in some capacity. So, how does this work? Well, if you look at a duty officer, let's bring up Ernie Michael Hauser here. First things first, you'll notice that his name is in green, while the other duty officers that I have in this list so far are white. The reason for that is that duty officers have a quality. There's common, white, uncommon, green, rare, blue, very rare, purple, just like gear has. Since Ernie Michael Hauser here is green, that means he's uncommon. That means he is going to be a little bit better at whatever he is doing. He gives a little bit better of a boost, and he's usually a little bit cooler. So you'll see you get some basic information. You can see his species, gender, rank, what department he's in, what specialization he has, and his traits. Specialization, in this case it's astrometric scientist, and then there's also something else here. It says recharge time reduced on the use of any transwarp ability, 100% cooldown rate. That is a special ability, and I'll explain that in a minute. That's a special ability that he has for space that you can slot. I'll cover that in just a moment. Then he also has some traits. These traits determine what he does and what he's good at. And then you can also see his current status. In this case, he's on an away mission, and it'll tell you what he's doing and how long he'll be away. If you go to assignments, let's go to current map. You will see on the assignments, up at the top it'll tell you what the assignment is. It'll give you a little description. It'll tell you the rewards, experience points, skill points, Accommodation Experience points, and I'll explain those in just a moment. Dilithium, energy credits, and there'll be all kinds of different stuff. Sometimes you'll get loot, sometimes you'll get duty officers. You'll often get dilithium and experience points. Sometimes you'll get energy credits. Quality reward bonus. If you slot green or better duty officers, this will up the quality reward bonus, which gives you additional accommodation and skill points. Because better duty officers are better at completing these. It'll tell you how long it takes you to complete the mission, and depending on what you have slotted, it will tell you what your current success and failure rate is. And then down here, it'll tell you what it requires. Some missions will require a specific duty officer, like this one here requires a geologist. So only a geologist will do. But if I come down here to, say, this one, you'll see that it says any duty officer will do. So sometimes it's very narrow as to what will work for it, and sometimes it's very broad. But in this case, like if I had no geologists, I couldn't put anybody else in this position. Only a geologist will work. And then you'll see I have critical success, success, and disaster. And sometimes it'll also say failure down here. And you'll notice that critical success and success are in green, disaster is in red. Any traits or specialties that match the critical success will increase the critical success rate. Any successes, any traits or specialties that are in the success will increase the success. Any red traits or specialties that were in the disaster or failure categories, increase those. Pretty straightforward. So I'm going to plan an assignment, and you'll see that I have Royce, Benton, Lusk. When you plan an assignment, it will attempt to give you the top 3 candidates from your duty officer roster. I currently only have 1 geologist, so I only have the 1 option. However, he is both a geologist and he has congenial, which is a critical success trait. So he's not a bad one to slot in. Not the best. Ideally, I would have a geologist with all 3 of these traits. That would give me the best success chance, and then the higher quality would increase those success chances even more. So, like, say I had a purple geologist that was tactful, emotional, and congenial, that would be fantastic. But since I don't have that, I will slot what I have currently. And you will notice my critical success chance is 5%, my success is 47, failure is 47, and disaster is 1. Then when I drop him in, I drag him over, drop him into the slot. Boom! I go up to 8% critical success, 66% success, 25% failure, and 1% disaster. So not fantastic. I have a slightly better than 1/4 chance of failing this mission. Not great, but you know, I still have a pretty good chance of succeeding. So I'm going to head and start the assignment. And if I go over to in progress, you will see that audit application credentials of geologist, time remaining to complete 59 minutes 47 seconds. Now, you'll also notice there's casualty risk. There are 4 categories of casualty risk. There is none. If it says none, there is no chance that anybody will be hurt whatsoever. Low, there is a minor chance that one or more of your bridge officers will be hurt, usually only on a failure or disaster, and they will only ever be injured. On a medium, high, or extreme, which are your other categories, there is a better and better chance of a bridge officer coming back hurt. And if they're a white bridge officer, a common quality bridge officer, they can be killed in one of those missions. And there are occasionally missions that even if you succeed, bridge officers will come back hurt. It just happens. So if you have a mission that is a... let's see if I have anything. I don't think I will in this one because airspace stock stuff tends to be pretty safe. Nope. Not looking like it. Nope. Okay, I can't show you those right now, but so yes, you want to keep an eye on the casualty risk, and if you have any that are medium or high, try to avoid sending white officers on if you can, because like I said, there's a chance they'll be killed, which means they are permanently gone. If they're injured, they will just go, and if you go to your overview, you can see this. They will just go to sick bay, and they'll be in sick bay for a little while until they're healed. So that is that. Alright, now the next thing you'll notice is that some of these have nothing, but some of them say uncommon. And you'll occasionally see rare and very rare missions as well. What that means is it has an impact of both on how often they show up in your assignments list, and it affects their rewards. So a very rare mission will have better rewards than a common mission. And there are occasionally missions that have different rarities of the exact same mission. So you might see, like, say, a trade mission where you're selling, attempting to sell off some entertainment commodities. There might be a common and a very rare one. The common one might only give, say, 50 experience points, where the very rare one will give 100. Something along those lines. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, the other thing you'll notice is I have personal missions. I have current map missions. Personal missions usually only show up under personal, and they'll be things like affecting your bridge crew. There's occasionally things like confiscating contraband from your crew is a good one to take. because that can give you contraband, which you can trade in for dilithium, which is awesome, and you need contraband for some of your missions. There is, and there'll be things like, you'll see this one, basic starship maintenance drills. And this actually gives you buffs. So the personal ones are nice because they will give you ship and ground buffs. Current map has a list, and it's got just a random selection of missions from various categories. But then if you go under department heads and look under your specific department head, like say engineering, you'll see there's also missions here. And sometimes missions will show up in both current map and in the department head. And sometimes they only show up in one, and sometimes they only show up in the other. So whenever possible, check both. And then finally, the other thing you've got is Accommodation Experience points. As you do missions, you will earn Accommodation Experience points that will go towards these accommodation categories. Each category has 4 ranks. Each rank gives you something. You'll get an accolade, you'll get a title, you'll get a duty officer. At rank 1 and rank 2, you'll get green duty officer, rank 3 a blue, rank 4 a purple. So that's one way you can actually get additional duty officers. Once you've bought, you'll come over to Lieutenant Farah here on Space Dock vacation over there. Lieutenant Farah you'll get a token that you could trade for one unique duty officer from Lieutenant Farah. Once you've bought, like say the Espionage rank 1, once you've chosen one of the available green quality duty officers, and there's usually like, I don't know, half dozen or 10 duty officers to choose from. Once you've chosen one, the rest of those become available to buy with dilithium. So that's another way you can get additional duty officers. And then some of these will actually give you other things like engineering, medical, and military all let you unlock the ability to purchase emergency medical emergency hologram DOFs. Emergency engineering, emergency security, and emergency medical. And diplomatic is awesome. Diplomatic will unlock the ability to transwarp to K7. At rank 3, it'll let you transwarp to Starbase 39, and at rank 4, it'll let you transwarp to Deep Space Nine. So that's a way to unlock additional transwarp locations. At rank 4, you also get a bridge officer from the opposing faction. So you can get an Orion, a Gorn, or a Nausicaan bridge officer. And it allows you to, and it also gives you a diplomatic corps uniform costume. So it gives you a new costume unlock, which is pretty cool. There's also something about voting, but that's kind of borked, and I don't really worry about it, and I would suggest you not worry about it. It's something on DS9 that's a little screwed up. So that's the basics of the duty officer system. Now, I like to joke that the duty officer system is basically Star Trek Farmville. Now, the reason for this is that you slot your duty officers, and as you saw, there's a timer on it. Once that timer's up, your duty officer comes back and gives you a reward. You collect the reward, and then you can slot them again. The quicker the turnaround time on those, the more often you check in with your duty officers, and the more often you collect and reslot, the more rewards you get, and the more experience you get. So doing those early, doing those often is a good thing. So now you might ask how you get additional duty officers. Well, I already showed you Lieutenant Farah, and that's one way to do it. One of the other ways, and this is the easiest way probably, is to talk to the personnel officer here. Miss Officer here, her parents hated her. Last name Officer, first name Personnel. Not very nice. Okay, she's got several things you can do. Submit requests for personnel. There is 5 missions she's got. These 4, the ones that are currently grayed out, because I have those actually already slotted. And I will pull that up real quick so I can show you the actual mission. Let's see, assignments in progress. Here we go. Federation Junior Tactical Officer. This actually takes no duty officers. There's occasionally you'll get missions that take no duty officers to start. And one of the reward you get for this is 2 common duty officers. And there is a chance you'll get a green, and if you're critical, there's a chance for a 3rd character, but usually it's whites. You'll get the common white duty officers. And since it's a tactical officer cadre, it'll be a tactical or security officer, red shirt. There's also engineering cadre, which will give you a yellow shirt. Science officer cadre, give you a blue shirt. And the civil corps, which will give you one of your civil give you civilian operatives. There is also general recruitment. General recruitment will give you a duty officer pack. This duty officer pack will give you 5 common quality duty officers, and each has a small chance to be a green duty officer. So you'll get 5 duty officers, usually 5 whites, but occasionally you'll get 1 or 2 greens. However, this mission costs 1,000 dilithium. I personally have a lot better things to do with dilithium than to buy low quality duty officers. But if you're really trying to get duty officers quick early on, and you have the dilithium to spare, this is one way to do it. All of these missions have a 2-day completion time, followed by a 2-day cooldown. So you can only do these missions once every 4 days. But it is a good way to build up your basic duty officers quick. Now, she also has reassign underperforming officers. So you click on that. This one allows you to trade 5 lower quality officers for 1 of a slightly higher quality. So you can trade in 5 commons for an uncommon, 5 uncommons for a rare, etc. This, however, costs dilithium. 500 for the low level one, 2,500 for the uncommons, and 5,000 for the rare. I suggest not doing these, mainly because it is completely random what duty officer you get, and generally speaking, you can sell duty officers on the exchange. And if you sell 5 white common duty officers on the exchange, you can usually get 1 green for the money you made. And you get to pick which green you get, so it's a better deal overall. Same thing goes from going uncommon to rare, rare to very rare. The exception to this being, some of your duty officers you'll find are locked. This is because they were special duty officers that you received for doing special missions or whatever. Locked duty officers cannot be traded or sold, in which case that's a good way to get rid of those duty officers, is to trade them in using this reassignment. But that's the only time I would use this, is if you have 5 locked characters that you can dump into here. And then finally, she's got exchange officers, in which case you can exchange 1 higher quality officer for 3 of the next lower quality. So you can trade in an uncommon for 3 common, a rare for 3 uncommon, etc. This does not cost. There we go. This does not cost any dilithium to do. However, once again, not really worth it in my opinion. The higher level duty officers are always worth more than the lower level ones, and you just don't get enough back. I would never do this, and I would suggest you don't. So, now, besides this, there are several other ways to get duty officers. One of those is through chain missions. One of the missions I currently have running, there we go, a 10 Cation diplomatic dinner. You'll see it says 1 of 10. That is a chain mission, and you can go over here. Since I haven't completed any, there we go, in progress complete. Yes, since I haven't completed any, none are showing up yet. But once I complete that, it'll start showing in my chain. A lot of the chain missions will give you a blue or a purple duty officer when you complete them. Not all of them, but many of them. And many of those will unlock missions that will give you a chance at getting duty officers when you complete them. So the chain missions are something to always look out for and always complete whenever you can. I'm going to bring up this galaxy map real quick. One of the other great ways to do to get missions is, all right. So we look at Sirius Block. Off to the right of Sirius Block, you'll see the Delta Volanus cluster. This is an unexplored region of space. There is generally an unexplored region of space in each of the sector blocks, or each of the sectors. So there's Delta Volanus there. Usually they go off the map, although Regulus is actually in Arcunis Arm. Tau Deo does not have one. Pi Canis here has it in the Hiromi cluster, so you actually have to go to the Hiromi cluster and enter it. But the rest of them, and then you'll see like Omega Leonis actually has 4 of it off of it. The Azale Expanse, Eridon, Dekel, Tong. Those unexplored regions have a 7-part colonization mission. There will be a mission called Resettle Colonists, which will give you 5 colonists. These are civilian colonists that count as passengers on your ship, so they do not count towards your normal bridge officer or your normal duty officer count. So you could have a full 100 duty officers and still have 20 colonists. You do max out at 20 of the colonists, though. You only have room for 20. There's a mission called Resettle Colonists that'll get you 5 of those. That takes 4 hours to complete and has a 20-hour cooldown, something like that. So you can usually do that about once a day. There's a 7-part colonization mission in each of those unexplored regions. And several of those missions require colonists. Once you complete the 7th mission, you automatically get a specific blue duty officer. And there's a different one for each colony zone. Then, once you've done that, there's a chance that a repeatable mission shows up called Support, etc. So it'll be like Support Delta Volantis colonization efforts. If you do that mission and complete it successfully, you will get a refugee. And for Federation, you will always get a refugee of the of one of the 4 founding races: human, Vulcan, Tellarite, or Andorian. If you critically succeed at that mission, you will also get, besides the refugee, you will also get a specific purple duty officer. And it is one specific duty officer for each of the regions. Delta Volantis, for example, gives you a doctor. So you'll get a blue doctor when you finish the 7th colony mission, and then you will get a purple doctor every time you critically succeed at that mission. And you can get multiples of the purple DOFs. So once you learn where certain DOFs are, it's a great way to grind out to get multiples of a really good duty officer. That's one way to do it. Now, the refugees. What you can do with the refugees is in various sectors, you will find asylum or refuge or asylum on X. Like, quite often at Earth Space Dock, you will see asylum on Earth. You can assign refugees to that duty officer mission, and that gives you a chance to get back a white or better duty officer. Now, generally speaking, having the correct racial refugee will help you increase your chances of getting a better critical, or getting a better success rate. So most of the human refugees, if you take them to Earth Space Dock, they have a better chance of you getting a higher quality duty officer from that. And the refugee will always give you the asylum mission will always give you a refugee of that planet, of that race. So Earth Space Dock will always give you human. Or asylum on Earth will always give you human. Asylum on Vulcan will always give you a Vulcan, etc. And there's a bunch of these spread throughout the galaxy, so always keep an eye out on those. That's a great way to get duty officers. Another way to get duty officers is over here in the what I call the orange zones: Beta Ursa, Alpha Trianguli, and Zeta Andromeda. These are near DS9 and Bajor, which is in this sector right here, Beta Ursa. There is a 4-part mission, counselor mission. Basically, you'll do 4 missions, a chain, and in the 4th mission, you'll permanently lose an advisor or counselor, I believe, or diplomat, something like that. You have to permanently, because basically they go there and they become governor or something like that. However, once you finish that mission, it opens up a repeatable mission that you'll get once a day or so. That is officer exchange, and it's for Federation sides. It's Bajoran, Cardassian, Paradan, and Kremen officer exchanges. There's 4 of them. Klingon side, it's Cardassian, Farazan, Dozy, and Wadi, I believe is the same one. And that one, you can exchange any officer you have. It can't be a civilian. It has to actually be an officer. But you can exchange officers, and you have a chance of getting back a better officer, and it's of that quality, or of that race. So Cardassian officer exchange will always give you a Cardassian officer. Once you unlock those, running that sector is fantastic for improving your DOFs. Basically, you keep an eye out and you try to match up your white DOFs with the best chance of getting a better quality DOF. So if they have any crit chance matches, you want to throw those in. But even if they don't have any crit chances, you want to throw them in anyways, especially if they're white, because almost always the worst you'll ever do is get another white duty officer back, and it'll be of that race. So if I get a white Cardassian duty officer, the next time that Cardassian officer exchange program comes up, I have a Cardassian, and chances are he's going to match one or more of those traits. So basically you want to run them through that mill as often as possible. Run through all your whites, and eventually you'll hit a point where you've run most or all of your whites through, and then you'll hit green. And then what you want to do is you just want to start looking at your greens, and you'll start trying to grind those up. And eventually you will hit a point where you've managed to grind most of your duty officers up to blue and purple quality. And this is a big way to do that. So at a certain point, the officer exchange programs, the refugee programs, and the repeatable colonization, the support missions in the colony zones, those are the ways to get DOFs at a certain point in the game. So those are the ones to keep an eye out. Learn where those are, learn what DOFs drop from them, and focus your efforts towards that if you're looking for duty officers. Let's see. Okay, now I think about the only thing I haven't talked about yet. One of the things is you can sell and buy duty officers on the exchange. So if you have energy credits kicking around, looking at the exchange is not a bad way to get additional duty officers. Just as a note. You can also... Alright, so, and one other thing about over here in the Zen Store, you start off with 100 duty officer slots. You can buy personnel, there we are. You can buy additional duty officer slots. Maybe this isn't it. Crap. Services, that's it. There we go. I can't find it because I'm a dummy. Oh, alright. I bet it's under duty officers. There we go. Watch me fumble around. I apologize. Like I said, it's very late night. I'm a little tired as I'm doing this. Alright, so duty officers. You have 100 slots. You can buy additional slots, 25 or 100 at a time. If you're looking to buy additional slots, I heartily recommend doing them 100 at a time because it is much cheaper than buying them 25. Because if you buy them at 25 at a time, it's 225 Zen. 225 by 4 is 900 Zen. So you save 175 Zen if you buy them 100 at a time. Anyways, you can buy this 3 times, so you can get a maximum, as it says here, of 400 duty officers per character. Unfortunately, this unlock is per character, not per account. So you'll have to do it for each character you level up if you want to have more than one character with maximum duty officer slots. So that's the basics there. And then finally, one last thing. If you're in a fleet, there is one other way to get duty officers. So let me head up to my fleet real quick and I will show you that. Okay, one last thing here before we log off. If you are in a fleet, there's a couple extra things you can do with duty officer system and to gain duty officers. The first thing is, once you have maxed out your accommodation rank, so say you've hit rank 4 diplomacy, you can continue to earn diplomatic accommodation experience points. And the reason why is once you've hit 110,000 or more experience, you can start filing accommodation reports. And since I don't actually have that much experience points, I can't even open these up. But basically what those are is those are a duty officer mission that take, I think, 6 hours to complete. And they cost 10,000 diplomacy, or cost 10,000 accommodation experience points. And they give you back 75 fleet marks. If you critically success one, they give you back 100 fleet marks. So even if you max out all of your commendation ranks, it's well worth it to keep doing the duty officers, even if you're not getting any loot or any additional duty officers out of those missions for the experience points, because you can keep running them through. You can keep doing these final accommodation report missions, and that's a great way to earn fleet marks. Fleet marks, of course, being what you need to donate towards your fleet projects to earn fleet credits to buy cool toys. And one of the things you can buy with said fleet credits is, if you come over here to the personnel officer, I wonder if he's related to Miss Personnel Officer there on, or Space Dock, or Starfleet Academy. Anyways, like I said, getting a little slappy. I apologize. If you talk to him, he has a couple of things that he's selling, and he is selling these for fleet credits. Fleet credits, of course, being the thing that you get for donating stuff to projects. He has, and depending on how much your fleet has unlocked, various things will be available to you. He will unlock fleet personnel, basically just generic fleet personnel. These are duty officers that you get, and these ones, the fleet personnel, are completely random. But you can pick a common quality, and eventually, as you rank up your fleet into the higher tiers, you can get uncommon, rare, and very rare. They will always have a duty officer of that category, so common duty quality duty officer box always has a white duty officer in it. And this category is completely random. But these are a little bit cheaper than the Fleet Duty Officer Engineering, Fleet Duty Officer Science, and Fleet Duty Officer Tactical. Like, say the Tactical here. These ones, you'll notice this is 750, whereas the whites were 500 for the generic randoms. These will only drop Tactical Personnel, which is the red shirts, Tactical and Security categories. They only drop those, and they'll drop them of the quality. So I can get common, and then eventually uncommon, rare, and very rare, of course. So if your fleet is a high enough rank, and you've gotten enough fleet credits from donating stuff, which I currently have none, because being a new character, I haven't gotten jack squat to donate to my fleet yet. But if you've got the fleet credits and you've ranked up your fleet, built up the fleet to headquarters starbase, you can buy duty officers this way, and that's a good way to invest. Like I said, you will get some randomness to it, because you can't pick exactly what type you get, but you can narrow it down using the specific duty officer vendor here. So that's pretty much it. That is the duty officer system in a nutshell. I think I covered pretty much everything. I apologize, it was a little bit of a scattered mess. And like I said, I'm getting a little tired, so some of it may have been a little bit slap happy. But yeah, I love the duty officer system. It takes a while to build up. I mean, I'll be honest. Don't expect to come in here and in a week have a bridge full of purple officers. It will take quite a while. But my main character, Bull, I've only been playing at this point now. I've been playing for about 9-10 months. And he's got 400 duty officer slots. He is largely full of, I generally keep him at around 350 to 360 active duty officers, and almost all of those are blue and purple. He has some green, he has almost no white, and he has a large amount of purple officers, and that is because I have done a lot of, basically doing a lot of those repeatable missions that I mentioned, the officer exchanges, doing the colony missions, turning in refugees. So if you stay on it and you hammer it pretty good, you know, check in daily, you can earn a lot of duty officers that way, and it's a good way to get a lot of cool stuff for the game. One of the other things is you do get experience points doing those. So even if you have an alt that you're not playing much, log him in once a day and just swap out his duty officer missions. Basically, collect the ones that are done and slot in a whole bunch of new ones, because honestly, you'll level up doing that. I have a couple of characters now that I've leveled up almost entirely doing duty officer missions, because I'm usually playing my mains, and lately I've been doing these videos for this dude here, Roger. So, yeah. So it's a good way to level, it's a good way to get some loot, and a good way to get offs. And it's a lot of fun. So anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here before I babble on even further. I want to apologize. This was a little longer than I was hoping it would be, but hopefully it was informative, and hopefully it helps you out with your future doffing endeavors. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.